Where did the name Hebrew come from? Or what I should say, Iyvri. Well, let's look at it because a lot of people really don't know. It started with Iyvri. And who was Iyvri? Hebrew is a descendant of Shem, the son of Noah, in Genesis 10:21-25. Iyvri is the great-great-grandson of Shem and the great-grandfather of Abraham, which was Abram. The word Hebrew, Iyvri, comes from Iyvri's name. It literally means one who crossed over or sojournered. Abraham was first called a Hebrew in Genesis 14:13. In Genesis 10:25, and unto Iyvri was born two sons. The name one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. So the Hebrew identity traces its ethnic and spiritual roots to Iyvri, not just genetically, but covenantally. Was Adam African or Hebrew? Adam was the first man formed from the dust of the ground, Adama, and that dust was dark, rich earth. Geographically, Eden was in Africa and Asia, near the Tigris, Euphrates, Pishon, and the Gihon rivers in Genesis 2:10-14. Ethiopia, Cush is mentioned as early as Genesis 2, so this region was significant from the start. In Genesis 2:13, and the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasses the whole land of Cush. Based on this, Adam would be considered Proto-Afro-Asiatic, not Hebrew in the national sense, because Hebrew identity began after the flood through Iyvri's lineage. But he was a dark-skinned man, and the Hebrew Israelites are descendants of this bloodline, tracing through Shem, Iyvri, Abraham, Jacob, and the 12 tribes. Did Yahuwah separate Hebrews from Africans? Africa is a continent with many people groups, including descendants of Ham, Mizraim, Egypt, Cush, Ethiopia, Canaan, Put, and Libya. Shem's, Noah's son, is the ancestor of the Hebrews, Arabs, and some East Africans. Yahuwah did not separate based on race or skin color. He separated based on covenant. In Deuteronomy 32:8, when El-Elon divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Yasharel. So Hebrew Israelites are Shemites, not Hamites, though they are still African in geography, appearance, and genetics. Yahuwah chose Abraham out of all the nations and made a covenant with him. That's when the Hebrew people were set apart. How did we become separate nations? This happened in stages. Let's look at the Tower of Babel, Genesis 11. Yahuwah confused the languages and scattered the nations into different regions. Covenant with Abraham, Genesis 12-17. Yahuwah said, I will make you a great nation in Genesis 12:2. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in Genesis 17:7. Abraham's seed through Isaac and Jacob, Yasharel, became the Hebrew Israelites, a spiritual and physical nation. Jacob's 12 sons, the tribe of Yasharel. From Jacob, renamed Yasharel, came the 12 tribes who would inherit the covenant and the promise of the land, kingdom, and rulership. So let's look at the key summary points. Iyvri, the ancestors of the Hebrews from Shem's line. Adam, first man created from dark earth, not Hebrew, but ancestral to all. Africa, land of many nations. Hebrews were not Hamitic, but Semitic, still dark-skinned. Separation. Yahuwah separated his people through covenant, not skin. Hebrew Israelites, descendants of Iyvri, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Yasharel, chosen to Yahuwah's people. Before we were called Jews, we were called Hebrews. Before we were a religion, we were a covenant people. Before we were scattered, we were chosen, not because of our strength, but because of his name.